your family may call because they miss you. Sometimes they call because they need a problem solved. Those two calls sound similar until you notice what happens after you help. A relative who values your presence does not disappear when the emergency ends. A relative who values your usefulness often does. There are 7 signs that your family has made you the fixer instead of treating you like family. The 7th sign is the one people excuse for years. You will hear the exact sentence that stops each pattern without starting a fight. You will also see why a calm boundary can expose more than an angry speech ever will. The first sign looks like concern, but it is really a request wearing a softer coat. The second sign arrives with urgency that somehow always lands on your shoulders. The third sign turns your refusal into a moral failure. The fourth sign recruits another relative before you have finished answering. The fifth sign keeps a private record of every favor they claim you owe. The sixth sign makes your availability feel like proof of love. The seventh sign appears after you finally stop repairing the same problem. There are 7 signs, and the 7th is the one that reveals whether they wanted your relationship or only your labor. Stay with Ellen. The first sign is that they contact you with a problem and skip the relationship entirely. There is no greeting, no curiosity, and no question about your day. At a family dinner, your sibling sends a message while everyone else is still eating. I need you to call the plumber, compare prices, and explain the bill before bedtime. The mechanism is simple. Starting with a task lets them avoid emotional closeness while still gaining access to your time, judgment, and practical skill. Your weapon is, I cannot take this on. Say it once, then stop. Do not add your schedule, your reason, or the name of someone who might help. If they ask why, repeat, I am not available for that. Say it once more if needed, then leave the message unanswered until you choose. A genuine connection can survive a small, unanswered request. But the next sign shows what happens when the request arrives wrapped in panic. The second sign is that every call is presented as urgent, even when the problem waited 3 days before reaching you. Their emergency becomes your immediate assignment. Your parent calls while you are driving home from work. They say the insurance website is confusing, the deadline is tonight, and nobody else understands what to do. Urgency narrows your thinking. You stop asking whether the task is yours and start proving that you can rescue everyone before the clock runs out. Answer with, I cannot handle this tonight. Say it once, then stop. A delayed response is not a betrayal, even when their voice makes it sound like one. If the deadline is real, they can contact the company, read the instructions, or ask a qualified professional. You are allowed to be a relative instead of an emergency service. The test is not whether you can solve it. The test is whether they respect your time when you do not. The third sign is that they make your refusal sound like evidence about your character. The request changes from practical to personal the moment you decline. At a cousin's birthday, a relative says they thought you were the responsible one. They smile at first, then mention how different you have become since you started protecting your evenings. This works because it moves the discussion away from the task. You begin defending your kindness instead of deciding whether you want to give your time. Use the line, my answer is the same. Say it once, then stop. Do not argue about whether you are selfish, distant, ungrateful, or difficult. If they continue, say, I love you, and the answer is still no. Say it calmly, then return to your meal or end the call. Some emotionally immature relatives are not calculating. They may genuinely believe disappointment should change your answer, but the impact still requires a boundary. What matters next is whether they accept your answer privately. The fourth sign begins when they decide your answer needs an audience. The fourth sign is that they recruit another family member to pressure you. Your original conversation becomes a group project before you can breathe. You decline a weekend favor in the family group chat. An aunt sends a sad message, your sibling adds a complaint, and your parent asks why everyone is being treated badly. The mechanism is social pressure. They create several voices around one request, so your nervous system mistakes popularity for obligation. Send, I am not going to argue about this. Say it once, then stop. Do not answer each person separately or provide a longer explanation for the group. If the chat continues, mute it and revisit it later. A family group chat is a place to exchange information, not a courtroom where your availability is tried. Their coalition may reveal that they expected access, not discussion. But the fifth sign is quieter, and it can keep you paying long after the favor ends. The fifth sign is scorekeeping disguised as affection. They bring up old favors whenever you decline a new request, as if care creates a permanent balance sheet. During a phone call, your relative lists the rides, meals, and introductions they gave you years ago. Then they connect that history to the one thing they want this weekend. The mechanism creates debt without an agreed end date. You are not answering today's request anymore. You are trying to escape a ledger they control. Say, that does not work for me. Say it once, then stop. Do not calculate who gave more or explain which old favor you appreciated. You can be grateful and still unavailable. Gratitude is a feeling, not a contract that makes every future request mandatory. The next sign shows why some families keep calling the person who always fixes things, even after that person has clearly become exhausted. The sixth sign is that they treat your availability as proof of love. If you cannot help, they act as though the relationship itself has been withdrawn. Your friend calls after midnight because their partner is upset. They expect you to listen, rewrite a message, and stay awake until the conflict disappears. This pattern rewards emotional dependence. They do not have to learn how to regulate a difficult moment when your immediate attention keeps doing that work for them. Say, I am not available for that conversation. Say it once, then stop. You may answer tomorrow, but you do not have to provide midnight access to prove that you care. A partner, friend, or relative can need support without making you responsible for their emotional outcome. Care has limits when one person becomes the only available container. Now comes the sign nobody expects, because it appears after you believe the problem has finally been understood. The seventh sign is that they stop calling, when you stop fixing. The silence arrives not after a disagreement, but after your first consistent boundary. You tell your family you will no longer manage their appointments, arguments, errands, or last-minute forms. For several weeks, the phone becomes strangely quiet. That silence gives you information. It separates contact based on mutual interest from contact based on what your labor made convenient. Say, I would like to hear from you when there is no task attached. Say it once, then stop. Do not chase the silence or offer a new favor to restart the relationship. If they return only with another problem, say, noted, but I cannot take that on. Say it once, then stop. The reaction will explain more than their promise. Some relatives may need time to adjust because they never noticed the imbalance. Others may simply look for a different fixer, and that choice is theirs. The pattern becomes visible when your usefulness disappears. The question is whether they still know how to be close to you without needing something repaired. Now translate the phrases that keep this arrangement alive. When they say, since when are you too busy for family? What they mean is, your time used to be easier for me to access. When they say, I would do it for you, what they mean may be, I want your gratitude to become a reason you cannot refuse. The answer remains your choice. When they say, you are the only one who can do this, what they mean is, I prefer your solution to learning another one. Their preference does not create your obligation. When they say, it will only take a minute, what they mean is, I want to decide how much of your attention this deserves. You decide that, not the person asking. When they say, you never help anymore, what they mean is, the amount you give has fallen below what I expected. A lower supply is not the same as no love. When they say, forget it, I will do everything myself. What they mean is, I hope your guilt brings you back before I have to solve this. Let the sentence remain theirs. After you hold the line, they will usually do one of three things. They will escalate, recruit someone else, or go cold, and each response reveals a different part of the pattern. If they escalate, they may raise their voice, repeat the emergency, or accuse you of abandoning the family. That reveals an attempt to make pressure succeed where the request failed. Your response is, I am ending this conversation now. Say it once, then stop. Leave the call, close the door, or put the phone down without announcing a second explanation. If they recruit another person, the new message may sound caring, but carry the same demand. That reveals coordination around access, not a new fact that requires your surrender. Tell the new person, my answer has not changed. Say it once, then stop. Do not let a different messenger turn one boundary into several negotiations. If they go cold, they may stop checking in. Ignore ordinary messages or return only when another task appears. That reveals how much the old contact depended on your usefulness. You do not need to punish the silence or fill it. Notice who contacts you to share a life, not just to outsource a problem. One more branch can appear inside any of the three. They may briefly act respectful, then test the same limit again a week later. That reveals habit more than malice. Keep your answer consistent, because a boundary explained differently each time becomes an opening for fresh debate. All 7 signs connect to one mechanism. Your family has confused access with closeness. They may know how to reach you, but they have not learned to relate to you. The fix is not a perfect speech. It is a smaller supply of explanations, rescuing and immediate availability whenever a problem is placed in your hands. Pick one request you usually accept automatically. This week, answer it with one calm sentence, then stop talking and watch what follows. Choose a request that is inconvenient but not dangerous. You are practicing clarity, not creating a dramatic confrontation or making a permanent decision about anyone. Write your sentence before the next call arrives. Use, "that does not work for me," or choose another line that fits your actual limit. Deliver it once without apology, then allow the other person's reaction to belong to them instead of treating it as a problem you must repair. Subscribe to Guard Your Peace for exact language that helps you handle family and friendship pressure without losing your judgment. You are not difficult because your time is an edge. You are finally making your availability a choice instead of a family resource.